There were signs from the beginning, red flags waving right in front of me, but I didn't see them. Or I did see them, but I explained them away. I had a reason for everything, an excuse, a justification. I wanted so badly for it to work that I convinced myself the warning signs were just misunderstandings, just rough patches, just things we could work through. Looking back now, the red flags were so obvious. But in the moment, when you're falling, when you want to believe, when you're invested, it's easy to miss what's right in front of you. So today, I want to talk about the red flags I explained away, because maybe if you're seeing them in your own relationship, you won't make the same mistake I did. The first red flag was how quickly everything moved. We went from strangers to soulmates in weeks. He told me he loved me after 2 weeks, talked about our future together after a month, wanted to spend every single moment together. And I thought it was passion. I thought it was fate. I thought, finally, someone who loves me as intensely as I love them. But what I know now is that love bombing isn't love. It's a strategy. It's designed to overwhelm you, to make you feel special, to create a bond so intense that you overlook everything else. Real love builds over time. It grows as you actually get to know each other. It deepens through experience. It doesn't happen in 2 weeks. That wasn't love. That was a performance. And I explained it away as romantic when it was actually my first warning. The second red flag was how he talked about his ex. She was crazy, abusive, controlling, impossible to please. Every story painted her as the villain and him as the victim. And I believed him. I felt sorry for him. I thought, he's been through so much, no wonder he needs so much reassurance from me. I was going to be different. I was going to be the one who finally treated him right. But what I know now is that how someone talks about their ex is how they'll eventually talk about you. If everyone in their past was terrible, if they take zero responsibility for any relationship ending, if they're always the victim, that's a red flag. Because either they have terrible judgment in partners or they're rewriting history. And eventually, you'll be the crazy ex in the story they tell the next person. The third red flag was the isolation. It happened slowly. He didn't like my best friend. She was a bad influence. He got uncomfortable when I spent time with my family. They didn't understand him. He needed me more than they did. He'd get upset if I made plans without him. He'd make me feel guilty for wanting space or time with other people. And I explained it away as him just loving me so much he couldn't bear to be apart. But isolation is control. It's cutting you off from your support system, so you have no one to reality check what's happening. So you have no one to turn to when things get bad. So you become completely dependent on him for your social and emotional needs. Real love wants you to have other connections. Real love encourages your relationships with friends and family. Real love doesn't make you choose. The isolation wasn't love. It was strategy. The fourth red flag was how he reacted to boundaries. Any time I tried to set a limit, he'd make me feel like I was being unreasonable. If I asked for alone time, he'd act wounded. If I said I needed to focus on work, he'd make it about him not being important to me. If I pushed back on anything, he'd either explode in anger or collapse into victimhood. And I learned quickly that it was easier to just not have boundaries than to deal with the reaction. But someone who can't respect boundaries doesn't respect you. Someone who makes you feel bad for having needs is manipulating you. Someone who punishes you for saying no is controlling you. Healthy relationships have boundaries. Healthy partners respect them. The fact that I couldn't set boundaries without a crisis wasn't a sign that I was being difficult. It was a sign that he needed me to have no limits so he could have total control. The fifth red flag was the cycle. Good days and bad days. Except the bad days were really bad. Screaming. Silent treatment, blame, cruelty. And just when I'd decide I'd had enough, just when I'd start to pull away, the good version would come back. Apologizing, promising to change, being sweet and loving and everything I'd been missing. And I'd think, see, this is the real him. The bad stuff was just stress or my fault for pushing his buttons. But the cycle is the point. It's designed to keep you off balance. To give you just enough good to stay while subjecting you to enough bad to break you down. The good times aren't proof that he can change. They're bait to keep you hooked. And I explained away the cycle as normal relationship ups and downs when really, it was a pattern of abuse with strategic moments of relief. The sixth red flag was how I felt. Anxious all the time, walking on eggshells, monitoring everything I said and did to avoid setting him off, constantly trying to prove my love, my loyalty, my commitment, feeling like I was never enough, never doing it right, never able to make him happy for long. I felt exhausted, depleted, like I was losing myself, and I explained it away. I told myself all relationships take work, that I just needed to try harder, that once we got through this rough patch, it would get better. But the truth is, love shouldn't make you feel like that. Love should make you feel safe, secure, supported. If you're constantly anxious, if you're always performing, if you feel like you're walking through a minefield, that's not love. That's trauma. And the way I felt was the biggest red flag of all. These are the red flags I explained away. The love bombing, the way he talked about exes, the isolation, the boundary violations, the cycle, the way I felt. Every single one was there from the beginning. And every single one I rationalized. I justified. I explained away. Because I wanted it to work. Because I'd invested so much. Because I thought love was supposed to be hard. Because I didn't know what I know now. If you're watching this and you're seeing your own relationship in these red flags, please, don't explain them away like I did. Trust what you're seeing. Trust what you're feeling. Trust that these aren't things that will get better with time or love or patience. These are fundamental issues. These are warnings. These are signs to get out before it gets worse. I explained them away until it was too late. Until I'd lost myself. Until leaving felt impossible. Don't wait that long. The red flags are there for a reason. They're trying to protect you. Let them. Thank you for being here. If this resonated, share it with someone who might need to hear it. And subscribe to Wisdom from Today to Then. Your future self will thank you for listening to the red flags today.